Hi, in this video we're going to be talking about searching for files in regards to searching from the taskbar search box and also from the start menu. So this works differently than if you were to search from File Explorer within the search box here, because it only searches certain locations. So we're going to show you how to adjust these settings as needed. All right, so let's show you what we have here. So in the Pictures folder here, which is one of the default folders in Windows for this user, I have a Hawaii folder with some pictures in there. And then I also have a Grand Canyon folder with some pictures. And this is on the C drive itself in a folder called Trips. And then I have a Vacations folder on the E drive with a folder called Italy with some pictures there as well. All right, so if I were to search for Hawaii, let's say, from the search box, you can see it found some folders, some other nonsense results, some documents, and then it found the photos here. And those are in the Pictures folder on the C drive. So now let's say we want to search for Grand Canyon, which is on the C drive but not in the Photos folder. You can see we don't get any results because it's not in the Photos folder, which is in the Users folder technically for that user. And then finally, if we were to search for Italy, which is on the E drive, you can see we don't get any search results there either. All right, so we're going to show you how to adjust these search settings. So if you want to have it search other locations, that'll work from the taskbar search here. All right, so we're going to go to the settings. And then privacy and security, which is a weird place to have it. And then down to search. Okay, then we want to look for a section called Find My Files. So you can see the default setting here is for Classic, which searches documents, pictures, and music folders, plus the desktop. And that's why the Hawaii pictures showed up, because they're in the default pictures folder, and the other ones didn't. All right, so there's a couple ways you can go about this here. So if you wanted to search the entire C drive, even though this says search the entire PC, it really means the C drive. You could click on Enhanced here. And then here are some exclusions for folders that won't search by default. And then you could come here and add other folders if you want to have those not be searched as well, to kind of speed up your search results. All right, so once you pick this option, the computer will have to re-index the files before it will work, so don't expect it to work instantly. So I'm going to pause the video, let it index, and then I'll be back and we'll see what happens. All right, so now that the indexing is complete, let's search for Grand Canyon. Now you can see our Grand Canyon results show up that are on the C drive itself. But if I go back here to Italy, which is still on the E drive, and search for Italy, you can see those don't show up. And this is because the enhanced option is not going to work for a secondary drive. So if you want a secondary drive to be included in your search results, you're going to have to add it manually to the indexing options. And that's easy enough to do. Just type in indexing options here, or just go to Control Panel and open it. All right, so if we click on Modify, you can see we have the C drive with just the Users folder selected here. And I didn't have to select the Trips folder, because when you turn on the enhanced mode, it should index everything else on the C drive except for the excluded folders. Then if I go to the E drive here, you can see nothing is selected. So what you can do is either select the whole drive, but of course that's going to make indexing take longer, especially if you have a lot of stuff on it, or you could just choose the folder you want. So let's say you have a folder like this Vacations folder, and you're only going to be adding things to this folder. You could check this to save yourself on some indexing time, or of course you could just select the whole drive itself. And one thing you might notice when you do that is it doesn't check every folder, which is some kind of little bug, I think. So you can come back here and do this if you want. And then I'll click OK. Now you can see it has to index again, so I'm going to pause the video, and then we'll be back when indexing is complete, and then we'll see if it worked. All right, so the indexing is complete. So now we'll type in Italy, which is on the E drive. Now you can see it finds our pictures from the Italy vacation folder. All right, so let's do a little summary here since I was kind of jumping around. All right, so by default, when you go to Privacy and Security under Search and then Find My Files, it's set to Classic, which will only search in your Documents, Pictures, and Music folders, which are your default folders right here. So if you search to Enhanced, you could have it search your entire C drive for other folders except for these excluded folders. And like I said before, you could add excluded folders here if you don't want to have it waste time searching within those. And then, of course, the computer is going to have to re-index, which it should do on its own. And then you could also trigger it manually if you go to Indexing Options here, Advanced, and then click on Rebuild. That'll delete the index and rebuild it from scratch. And then other folders on your C drive should show up. But if it's on a different drive, like the E drive in my case, then you'll have to go back to the indexing options, which I shouldn't have closed, and then modify and choose either the entire drive or just the folders you want. And then you'll have files and folders from that drive or specific folders show up in your search results from the taskbar there. And then if you go to the Start menu too, say Italy, you can see it works the same way from there. All right, so there is your overview on how to change the search locations for specific files and drives within Windows. All right, thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe.